In the last 17 years, I've gone from a beginner golfer to a +4 handicap, and I also went to the PGA of America and got a Class A certification on teaching this beautiful game. So I was able to do it myself, and I learned how to teach it. Now in this video, I'm going to give you tips on how to become a scratch golfer. Let's get started. Now the first step of this process in becoming a scratch golfer is going to start exactly where you should expect it to, putting. And more importantly, short putts. So that's step one. We're going to be talking about short putts. Bang. Now there's a lot of reasons why you'd want to be proficient in these short putts. I mean, it's just going to save you some shots, making the ones that you really should make. But the biggest thing I've found is it takes stress off the rest of the game when you feel really confident in this. Like imagine, if you miss a green and you feel confident making this 4 or 5 footer, it probably takes a little stress off you hitting that chip to a foot. If you don't feel comfortable hitting this putt and making it, around the green you're gonna be thinking, well, I have to get it to this to have a chance to make that par putt. But if we can hit it to here and know we can make it, have confidence we can make it, that chip's gonna get a lot easier. That same concept also bleeds into the full swings. Again, think about it. If you miss a green, you feel a little more confident you're going to get up and down. So it's just overall, you're going to be a little bit freer just by the fact that you feel comfortable and confident hitting these short putts. Now let's get into the technique of it. Now setup is very important when it comes to being consistent on the greens. The biggest thing we're looking for is a lot of parallel lines. What I mean by this is club is pointing out where you want to start the ball, and you want to have your feet, hips, and shoulders all parallel to this line. That's just going to make it the most consistent. Another thing that you want to think about is head position. A lot of people struggle with being consistent with their putts because the eye line just doesn't always match up. If we stand way too close to it and our eye line's way over the golf ball, the line's going to look a lot different than if we're on the inside. So this being inconsistent is going to make it a lot harder to be consistent with your putts. So what you want to do is get over the ball, and our goal is to have our eye line slightly inside of the middle of the ball. So we want to think we're going to hit, if we drew a straight line down, we'll hit the inside of the golf ball. Easy way to do that too, you get over the ball, you grab another golf ball, put it by your eyes, and drop it. So that one landed slightly inside the golf ball. It ended up hitting about here on my putter, which means I'm in a good spot. I'm in the spot that I want to be, which means my eyes were slightly inside the golf ball. Now, ball position is also important here because there's not a whole lot of loft on this. And believe it or not, we're trying to hit up on the ball slightly. Just like the driver, we're trying to hit up on it. Everything else, we're hitting down on the golf ball. But for this one, because we want to hit up on the golf ball, we want to have the ball slightly forward of center, if not all the way to the lead foot. This is a little bit of a preference and a little bit of mechanics in your putting stroke. Being that this video is a little more general, I can't be very specific with your needs because I haven't seen what you do. So I would just try it out. Try some putts in the middle, try some putts a little farther forward. Whatever feels more comfortable, gives you a little more confidence, I would do that. So for me, what gets me the most comfortable, the most confident, I have it slightly forward of center, which gets me in a position that I'm really comfortable with, and I feel like I can make a lot of putts. Just like that. Now the next part of this process is how we move the club. Now I have an arm lock putter, so it's going to look slightly different to you if you have a standard length putter, but it's all the similar concept. Because what we want to do to be the most consistent is use our larger muscles to move the club. If we're using our hands and wrists, the face is going to rotate a lot, which is going to make it really hard to be consistent. So we want to focus on shoulders and chest rotating, and that's what's going to move the putter. For you with your putter, this is what I want you to do. First is the grip. It's mostly what feels comfortable to you. There's benefits to going left hand low, the claw, regular grip, however you want to do it. There's benefits to everything, but it's all very personal preference based on what your miss is and kind of what your habits are. So to find the right grip, it's going to be a little bit of trial and error. Do you feel comfortable with left hand low, standard, claw, all that? Just give it some trial and error, give it some tries, figure out which one you like the best. Now, once you figure out your grip, what I want you to do is extend the putter out in front of you. We're gonna pull our elbows into our sides, bend at the waist, let that club kind of drop. Make sure your grip's nice and loose so it can allow that to happen. So this is gonna get you in a very comfortable, very consistent position where we're very connected with our arms. Being that we let the club drop, we're probably gonna be pretty close to where we want our eye line to be. And from here, we wanna look at the triangle that is created with our arms and the club. And we want this to be consistent the whole way. If it's not consistent, we probably used our wrists. But if it does stay consistent, then we moved the club with our shoulders and chest, and we can be a lot more consistent hitting these putts. When it comes to stroke length, this is something that's very overlooked. It's something that's gonna help you be, again, more consistent if we can keep the stroke length consistent. How we vary the distance of the putt should only be on how far we take the putter back, not how quickly we move the putter. I see a lot of people that struggle on the putting green. They make some strokes that are long and slow, and they make others that are short and quick. You can't really be consistent with that, and odds are if you're short and quick and it's not your normal move, you're probably using a lot of wrist there. Not very consistent. So I want you to think of a pendulum, you know? Pendulum. It's very consistent, it goes the same width. We want same back, same through. This is gonna do a couple things for you. One, it's gonna help with your tempo stay consistent, and it's gonna help with speed control. The other thing it's gonna help with is making sure we keep the proper amount of speed through impact. If we take it too far back and then stop really short, odds are you're gonna slow down on the golf ball, probably leave a lot of putts short. Vice versa, if we take it really short back, accelerate through, you're probably gonna hit a lot of putts too hard because you're picking up speed into the golf ball. So what I want you to do is think, if we take it back, call it outside of my foot, and the ball's in the middle of my stance, we gotta go to the front of my foot, the front foot. So equal back, equal through, it's gonna make it a lot easier to be consistent, and you're gonna make a lot more putts. So now let's talk about some drills you can do to really dial everything in and help you really build that confidence to make a lot of these short putts. The first one is getting a mirror and doing some drills on that, because it's gonna make you understand how to get in the correct positions, because you can see it. When you have the mirror down, you can see where your head position is, and you also see your shoulder alignment. If we can keep this consistent, it's gonna be a lot easier to make a lot of putts. The other great thing too is the one I have by Short Game Gains has these two marbles up front and it has slots for the tees. So what you can do is put the marbles in to make sure we're starting the ball on line. And you can also put the tees down and make sure you are hitting the center of the putter face. These are all very important to making the ball start on line and getting the ball to go in the hole. Center of the putter face, and yeah, if you start on line, it should go in. The next thing is pretty much just what I said, the gate drill. Great thing to make sure we can hit the center of the putter. Hitting the center of the putter is going to make sure that the speed's very consistent and there's no weird spin access. If we can hit off the center, it's going to start just how we want, and if it starts on line, again, it's going to go in the hole. I use a lot of different gadgets for something like this, but it's very simple. You could just use 2 tees and you can do exactly what you need to do. Exactly what I do for way less. And the last drill, although it's not the most exciting drill, is the circle drill. And this, honestly, in my opinion, just helps you build a lot of confidence. If you can make a lot of these 3, 4, 5 footers in a row, getting up to one of these on the golf course is gonna be super simple. So what I like to do is I put 5 tees around a hole, somewhere between 3 and 5 feet away. A lot of times I like to use a putter because my putter is 40 inches, so it's slightly outside of that 3 foot, like what feels really comfortable. And I hit a bunch of putts there. My goal is to go 3 putts from every tee and just don't miss one. So 15 putts in a row have to go in. It sounds simple, but it's not. It tests your mental focus, and it tests your ability to read the greens, and it tests your ability to be consistent. So it's a great thing to do. If you do it here, if you can make a lot of them on the practice green, you can make a lot of them on the golf course. Another great thing about this drill is it adds some pressure. When you have to do 15 in a row, and you have to restart if you miss one, that 14th and 15th one, you feel a little bit of pressure on those. and it helps you resemble that little bit of pressure you feel on the golf course. Step 2 is what you do around the green. It's a little bit about how you hit the shots and also picking the right shot for the situation you have at hand. For how to hit the shots, there's 2 shots you're gonna learn. And the first one, believe it or not, is basically a putt with a little bit more loft. This is gonna be our bump and run, our low shot that runs out a lot. For this, I grab my pitching wedge. What we're doing here is a putting stroke. The only difference is, instead of the ball being forward in our stance, it's gonna be back. So I want it about inside of the trail foot. Feet are gonna be fairly narrow, and the feet are also gonna be slightly open. This is, again, more of a comfort thing. If you feel good being square, by all means be square. But for me, and from a lot of people I teach, being a little open is a little more comfortable, so that's what they do. And if that's more comfortable for you, that's what you should do. So, ball's in the back of our stance. Feet are slightly close together with a little bit open. We're in a very similar setup as the putting motion. Slightly farther away from the ball, because if we were right on top of it, the club would just be too upright. So, but very similar. We're getting closer though to where the heel is slightly up off the ground. If we are flat to the ground, we are too far from it. Flat to the ground is perfect if we're trying to make a full swing. We're not trying to make a full swing. The hole is 20 yards away. So, closer to it, back of our stance, heel up. And that triangle we were talking about with the arms on the putter, same thing. Moving the club with our chest. It's gonna come out nice and low and release out towards the hole. I would take that every time. So that one should be pretty simple for you. If you can hit a putt, you can hit that shot. The second one is just a slight adjustment off that. This is gonna be our higher launching shot. This is the shot we only pull out if we have to fly it over stuff. This is where we're gonna get a lot more loft. So this one, I have my 58 degree. This is the most loft I carry. What we're gonna do with this is we're gonna move the ball forward and open the club up slightly. And when I mean slightly, I mean slightly. We're not laying it flat. This is the beginning of this. We're not hitting the super mega flop yet. Start out small, build into it. So, ball positions off the inside of that lead heel. Club face slightly open. We want the club face pointing at the target. If we have our feet pointing at the target and we open the club face, you're hitting it way over there. That's not ideal. So we want the club face pointing at the target. Feet are gonna be a little open to that. The biggest thing with this is we wanna make sure our weight's forward. It's easy to think I need to hit it high. I'm gonna lean on back to try to help it up. Reality, you're just gonna hit off the equator of the ball with this nice little leading edge, and it's gonna go about 2 feet off the ground, if that, racing over the green or into whatever you're trying to cover. Not ideal. So, weight's gotta stay forward. For these shots, you could essentially hit them on 1 foot. The loft is gonna get it up in the air. Your weight is just helping you hit down. So, club face slightly open. Ball on the inside of the front foot. Weight forward. That triangle we talked about, it's the same thing. The width of the stroke is just gonna be a little bit wider. Extension, these triangles stay the same, stay the same. The club is gonna stay in front of our chest. If it's not in front of our chest, probably way too much arms. So think, keep the arms in front of your chest, keep that triangle. The loft is gonna help you hit it a lot higher. Oh, look at that, I almost made it. And as you get farther and farther, it's gonna start getting higher and higher. The shot's just not very long. If I had to make a longer swing, it's easy to hit it higher. It's just all about the stroke you make, but the loft itself is what's getting it up in the air. There's none of this going on to try and help me get it up in the air. We're just trying to keep it nice and simple, because if you keep it simple, we keep it consistent. If it's not simple, it's hard to be consistent. Now we're gonna talk about what shot you should hit in certain situations. And the key here is just to remember to get the ball on the ground as quick as possible. Now, I'm gonna recommend, if you can, land it on the green. Like a spot like this, it's gonna be a lot more consistent if I could land it up here on the green rather than here. Just a little longer, the ball might grab a little bit more, and we have plenty of green to work with, so we can get away with flying it to the green. But again, wanna get the ball on the ground as quick as possible. So for a shot like this, I'm hitting a pitching wedge. I'm just trying to land it a couple feet on the green. And it's gonna release out, call that 3-4 feet. The reason we're talking about getting the ball on the ground as quick as possible is because it helps you manage those misses. If we thin or chunk a little swing like that, it's not gonna go that far. But if we try to hit the high shot, blade that thing 40 yards over the green, not ideal. So we're just talking about managing misses here. Everyone hits bad shots. Everyone's gonna miss shots. No one pures absolutely everything. So we need to somewhat plan for the misses, which in this case is get the ball on the ground quickly, fly it a little bit on the green, and let it release out. Oh, look at that. Almost made it. So in situations like this, when you have plenty of green to work with, take something with less loft, make a smaller swing, get the ball on the ground, and get it running. If you're not forced to hit it high, don't hit it high. It's just gonna make the game harder than it already is. Now, there's gonna be some situations where you have to hit it high. For one I have here, gotta go over the bunker, there's not a whole lot of green to work with. What shot you pick here really depends on the lie and what's around this pin. For this exact shot, I have a pretty good lie and there's room behind the pin. So hitting it high, trying to get it on the green is a totally fine option. The biggest thing to remember is the miss is long. So essentially we're just trying to land this in the hole, which gives us a little bit of a buffer zone if we hit a little short, so we're not going in the bunker. And we go in the bunker.
The miss is long.
See, that's the worst thing you can do. We got to just make sure we commit to hitting it past it. Hitting it past it. Look at that. Look at that. Hit it to 2 feet. Player B is really good. Now, but there's going to be some times that it makes no sense to hit this high shot over the bunker. And what I mean by that is if there is some sort of penalty behind the pin, say there's another bunker, and I have a terrible lie, and essentially me hitting it between these two bunkers is a 1 out of 10 shot, definitely don't do it. Because odds are, if we hit it in one of these bunkers, we're gonna add more shots than if we just chip around it and try and 2-putt. The biggest key is to make sure that whenever we're around the green, the most amount of shots we're gonna hit from here is 3. 1 chip, 2 putts. That's the goal. So if the shot is really, really difficult, you don't feel confident in it, just feels like you're gonna hit it in a bad spot, play it smart. So a situation like this, I'd be chipping it left of the bunker. It seems really dumb. I'm gonna be honest. It seems really dumb when you're around the green to have to try and play smart. But the biggest thing with getting down to scratch is really trying to eliminate those dumb mistakes and just trying to play smart. Golf's hard, so just play it smart. If this is a shot you really can't hit, it's really difficult, you're probably gonna be 1 out of 10, play it smart, go left, take your medicine, you'll make it up on another hole when you have a chance for birdie. Now the next step, third step, is how you attack into the greens. This is a lot of higher handicappers struggle with because they get too aggressive. Now let's be honest. If you're a higher handicapper, you're probably not hitting exactly where you want to be every time. So you need to give yourself some buffer zone. Now, as you get closer to scratch, yes, you're going to be able to hit it closer to your target, but still, there needs to be some buffer zone. If you have a tucked pin, you always got to be aiming towards the fat side of the hole, which means if the pin is tucked on the right, you need to be aimed left of it, and vice versa. If the pin is tucked on the left, you need to be aimed right of it. Now, how far you aim from this pin Depends on the club you have, the distance you have in, those two go together, and what is around it. If you have a wedge in, by all means, attack the pin if there's not a whole lot of trouble around it. If you can miss this shot 7 feet right and it goes in a hazard, you need to aim a little bit more away from it. But if there's room, call it the pins 7, 8 on. There's a lot of room to miss there. By all means, go really close to the pin. It's just about being smart now as we're getting farther and farther and farther away from the green, hitting longer and longer clubs. Obviously, we shouldn't be attacking the pins as much. We should be aiming more towards the center of the green because the longer the club is, the larger the margin for error is. Think about it. Which one do you hit closer, a wedge or a 4-iron? You probably hit the 4-iron a little bit more offline. So you need to give yourself some room to hit it offline, and you're not going to hit it in the water or the bunker or anything else that's around the green. Like I said before, it's all about playing smart. Getting to scratch is all about saving shots. We're looking to save half shots, full shots. If we get a little too aggressive and start hitting shots into bunkers with wedges or mid-irons, we're just losing shots. But if we can play smarter, miss it on the fat side of the green, even if we miss the green on the correct side, we're gonna be saving shots. We might not get up and down every time when we miss the green on the fat side, but we're gonna get it up and down more often than if we miss it short-sided in a bunker, in a hazard, all that stuff. So that's where those half shots come in, and those are important when you're going from mid to high 70s trying to get down to low 70s, if not in the 60s. Now the final thing, everyone's favorite, the tee shots. You need to have a couple things with the tee shots if you're gonna wanna get down to a scratch. You're gonna need a club that you feel super confident you're gonna hit in play, most likely in the fairway. This doesn't have to be driver. For some of you, it's gonna be a blessing that you just feel really good with driver and you feel like you can hit in the fairway all the time. And for some of you, that's not gonna be the case. For me, I feel great with a driving iron. That is my go-to club. It's a club that gets me out far enough. We don't have to hit it 300 yards every time, or for the average golfer, 230 every time. You just need something that's gonna get out there. We're trying to avoid penalty shots. If there's a really tight fairway, or there's water on one side and I just don't feel comfortable, I'm pulling out that 2-iron because I feel like I can get it in the fairway pretty much every time. That confidence is gonna make me make better swings, and I'm gonna save a lot of shots that way. So you have to have a fairway finder club, pick one shot with that club, and just, that's the one to go to. If you feel uncomfortable with driver, go to that club. If there's a hazard on the side that you tend to miss driver, go to that club. The biggest thing, when you're one of those higher handicapper golfers, shooting in the 90s or even the 80s, is just to avoid penalty shots. And doing that, having that fairway finder club, is gonna help you do just that. Now, as you get better, we're gonna have to hit driver more because odds are you're gonna be playing longer distances. So what you wanna do is get that driver and pick one shot shape. Absolutely one shot shape. If you're trying to move it both ways, it's gonna make it much harder to be consistent because the club's gotta move 2 different directions if you're trying to hit a fade versus a draw. So we're trying to be consistent, pick one shot shape. For me, fade every time. This also makes the fairway a little bit wider for me because I know I can aim up the left side of the fairway and use more of the fairway, rather than if I was just trying to hit straight and hope it goes one way or the other. And I know what you're probably thinking, Darren, I watch the pros. They move it both directions, and this is why they're really good. No, they're really good, which allows them to move it both directions. They practice really hard. They do this full time. They do it every day. Yes, they're better at moving it both ways. For you, who probably still has a job and is also trying to become a good golfer, it's gonna make it a lot easier if we just pick one shot shape. Dustin Johnson was #1 in the world for a really long time. He hits one shot shape off the tee. He's fading it every time. So just listen to him. He keeps it simple. Hit one shot shape off the tee. It'll help you hit more fairways and keep the ball in play a lot more. The last thing with driver, which honestly works for about every shot, is to just commit to whatever your shot you're trying to hit. Going up to the shot and going, I don't want to hit it here, I don't want to hit it there, I'm worried about this. odds are you're gonna do one of those things that you're worried about. If you can get up to the shot and go, make a confident swing, I don't care where it's gonna go, I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna go a lot straighter. This is something I've been doing recently. I struggle with driver super hard because it's all up here for me. I've been terrible at the driver for a long time, and I'm slowly getting back to being really good off the tee. And the way I do that is I get up to the driver and I go, this is the shot I wanna hit. I wanna make a confident swing. I don't care where it goes, I will find it. So that's what I do. Make a lot more confident swing. It's a lot freer. Honestly, there's a lot more speed. It's just a lot better. So, golf is all up here. You really gotta it's something you kinda gotta work on, because if you're fighting it mentally, it's not like you can just snap your finger and it goes away. But if you can get up over it and try and convince yourself to just make a confident swing. If it's driver, maybe just swing hard. Maybe that's the idea, just swing hard. But you're trying to commit to it, commit to the shot, make a freer swing, you'll hit it in a lot better positions. So that is all I got for you today. These are all the building blocks to becoming a scratch golfer. This was part one, so it was fairly basic, but these are all concepts that I still use now. I'm a +4 golfer, I shoot in the 60s a lot. I use all these concepts, playing it smart off the tee, playing it smart into the greens, picking the right shot around the greens, making sure I'm not playing overly aggressive by trying to hit a shot that I'm probably gonna make 1 out of 10. All of this is just building blocks to becoming a great golfer. So use these tips, bring them into the course, start shooting lower scores. A lot of improving your game is being smart on the golf course. We know you can hit all the shots. You do it on the range. Now you're gonna have to do it on the course and give yourself some room for error, because not every shot is perfect. So thank you for watching. Look out for part 2. It'll be coming out. It'll be a little bit deeper dive into everything, really kind of focusing on once you get past that 100s, 90s, kind of getting into the 80s and the 70s kind of range. So look out for part 2. Thank you to everyone for watching who got this far. I really appreciate you, and I hope to see you at the next video. Bye.